Have you ever thought about starting your own podcast? When I was trying to get this podcast off the ground, I had a lot of questions. How do I record an episode? How do I get my show into all the apps people like to listen? How do I make money from my podcast? Well, the answer to every one of these questions is really simple. Anchor. Anchor is a one-stop shop for recording, hosting, and distributing your podcast. Best of all, it's 100% free and ridiculously easy to use. And now, Anchor can match you with great sponsors who want to advertise on your podcast. That means you can get paid to podcast right away. In fact, that's what I'm doing right now by reading this ad. When I started using Anchor to do my podcast, it was so extremely easy that I haven't even bothered to look for another app to use. I love this app. It's the only one I deal with, the only one I even recommend, period. I recommend you get on there ASAP. If you want to start a podcast, this is definitely the place to go. It's easy. You can drive around and record. You can sit in your basement and record. You can do it anywhere. It's fantastic. So if you've always wanted to start a podcast, make money doing it, go to anchor.fm/start, anchor.fm/start to join me and the diverse community of podcasters already using Anchor. That's anchor.fm/start. I can't wait to hear your podcast. What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? It's Adam Rich from the Really Rich Podcast, and today is the day before Thanksgiving, and since I probably won't be doing a show on Thanksgiving itself, today I just wanted to take the time to not only say thank you to everybody and basically go over, what I'm thankful for and why I'm thankful about anything in the first place, but also to try to encourage everyone else to live a very thankful, grateful, appreciative life. And it's very, for many reasons. I mean, it's very beneficial to you, your attitude, your mood, the way you just wake up and go through life. It's a totally different ball game when you wake up grateful, feeling like thinking about the things that you have and how most people don't have them, and how, I think it's very easy, especially if you live in America, but it's very easy in 2019 to take for granted all the benefits that we have in this world, in this year, in this era that we're living in. And I think so many people wake up every day and they're just mad because of certain things that have gone on in their life that they're not, that aren't very favorable. Whether it be some people are going through a bad breakup or a divorce. Some people have just lost their job. Some people have a job, but they hate going in every day, but they don't have a choice because of bills and the money they need to make and things like that. I think some people, let's be honest, some people come from very messed up homes, very messed up families, whether they had abusive parents or maybe their parents weren't together, maybe they lost a family member or relative, mom or dad at a very early age. It's very easy to take for granted the good things that we do have in life when we are constantly focused on all the bad things and the ways that we feel like we've been wronged. And I'm not saying that feeling like that is unjustifiable. I'm not saying that if your boss fired you wrongfully that you shouldn't be pissed. I'm not trying to say any of that. What I am saying is, through all the bad that has gone on in your life, whether it's recently or a long time ago or still going on at this minute, it's very easy to think about those things. It's very easy. It's always at the forefront of our mind when something is an inconvenience or it's a problem for us. It's obviously very easy to focus on that. But the reason why I think it's extremely, extremely beneficial and just critical and important to you to be more happy, to be more positive, and to be more grateful for the things that you do have, because it gives you a mindset of feeling blessed and happy. It allows you to realize that you do have a good life, even if you've had a lot of bad things happen to you. The fact that you're alive at all, the fact that you have life, that you ever came into existence at all. I mean, think about it. No matter how old you are, the day before you were born and then all of history before that, you didn't exist. And so I think it's fucking incredible that you're even here at all, that you even get to experience this run at Earth, like this experience that we all get. We don't know for sure why we're here, what the whole purpose is, why do we go through life, why do we make decisions, and why experience any of this at all? I think it's incredible, and I think a lot of people just take it for granted because it's easy to think, like, man, I went to the grocery store and they were all out of the fucking pop I wanted, or I went to the store and I looked for this new movie that just came out and they were just sold out, damn it. Or I went into work and they gave me a real shitty job today. It's very, very easy to think about the inconveniences because it's hard not to, let's be honest. But I want to explain something to you about the whole idea of appreciation and gratitude and overall how it even ties into happiness. And let me start by saying this. I'm extremely grateful for anybody that even listens to this, for anybody that's involved in this little community that we're building. I don't feel like it's my community. I don't feel like it's my anything. I feel like anybody that's involved in this, we're in this together. This isn't about just me. It's not about me just flapping my gums for 30 to 50 minutes or whatever. It's about literally trying to build each other up. It's not just me. Now, I may be the voice that's doing the podcast. I may be trying to start the conversation, but I always encourage that after you listen to an episode, to please find me. Like, find me on any social media. You can find me on any, I'm trying to think of a social media, like a big one of the bigger ones. The only big social media app that I don't really get involved in much, and I plan on starting, is TikTok. And I definitely want to get involved in that because I see that it's becoming a big deal. It's already a big deal, but it's becoming way bigger. But I mean, you can get a hold of me on Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, Snapchat. I mean, you can literally find me on damn near any, even Pinterest if you're trying hard enough. But I recommend going to any of those other sources first. But here's the thing, whether you agree or disagree, I always encourage that people get a hold of me and find me and talk to me and tell me how this has affected your life. Good or bad. Tell me if you disagree. I don't care if you hate everything I say and you think I'm trash. Please get a hold of me and tell me that, because I'm very empathetic about you feeling that way. Maybe it's something that I said. Maybe I rubbed you the wrong way. Maybe I miscommunicated something to you. I take full responsibility and full blame for making you feel upset or angry or something at something I've said. I'm not trying to do that. Trust me. I literally, genuinely want to help every one of us. Every one of you, myself, my parents, my family, my friends, strangers. It doesn't matter what country you live in, what time. Listen, you might be listening to this 100 years after I'm dead. I hope that I'm helping you too. There's a reason why I want to put down these ideas, not just in audio form or in video form or whatever. That's why I'm trying to write a book. I want to establish these things that I know have helped me, not things that I think. I only tell you about things that I've actually lived or that I've been involved in some way. I try not to talk about issues that I have no fucking idea what I'm talking about, because it doesn't do any of us any good for me to just randomly spout off bullshit based on an opinion. It really doesn't. I mean, I might have opinions on things that I've gone through and lived through, and I can tell you those, but I try to never encourage anybody to do anything that I haven't done myself. I try to practice what I preach, basically. And when I give, whether it's ideas or advice or whatever you want to call it, when I throw this information out, I'm just hopeful that somebody takes it, listens to it, and then apply it to their own life, and that it helps them in some way. So I want to say, for big time, dude, I'm so grateful for any of you who are listening, whether it's at this minute that that I upload it to the internet, or 500 years after I'm gone. I just want to be able to help somebody, and I really hope that it's involved. And I'm thanking you right now, even if I'm long gone before I even get a chance to say this. I thank you for being a part of this. And I highly encourage people, if you're going to be a part of the community as a whole, please just be encouraging to one another and try to help each other. And if you have ideas or advice or something that you think can help, please lay them out. I'm not look, this isn't a dictatorship here, nothing like that. I genuinely want people to have their lives become better. And I want them to be able to experience the joy and happiness in life that I feel on a regular basis, but in their own life and in their own way, with their own jobs and their own families and their own lifestyles and all that. I don't feel for a second that you have to do all the exact same things I'm doing. I just think that if you have the idea and the mindset and the perspective that I'm trying to lay out for everyone, I really believe that it's going to help you not only be happy, but to be able to build confidence and self-esteem and feel and go through life feeling like you're more than enough instead of not good enough. And I just want to say thank you to every single person that's involved in this, that listens to this, that if I was able to help you in any way, if you've commented, if you've become a fan, or if you've just even part of the audience, maybe you ain't a fan. That's fine. That's okay. I'm not mad. But please, I highly encourage you, get a hold of me on Instagram or Twitter or Snapchat or YouTube or anywhere that you can find me. LinkedIn, I'm big on there. Or not I'm big, but you know what I'm saying. Like, I like it. I'm on there quite regularly. But no, man, for real. I literally, I'm just extremely, I wake up every day thankful for the life that I have, for the family that I have, the health that we all have, the love that we get to see, the people around us, the setting, the time period that we live in. I mean, a lot of people don't think about that. Like, I'm extremely grateful for the time period that I'm growing up in. Like, if you put me back in the 1500s, I'm sure maybe back then that's all I would know, so I would be grateful for that too. But the point is, we are living in a fucking incredible time where if you want any source of information on how to do anything, not only is there written word about it on the internet everywhere, but there's YouTube videos to figure out everything. Dude, I didn't know shit really about like engines and working on cars and stuff. My dad was always into it. My grandfather was always into it. I never really got into it that much. It just wasn't something I loved, and I'm not knocking it by any means. I think it's a fucking phenomenal quality for people to have. If you like being involved in that and you like working on cars, that's awesome. I commend it. It's the same way I feel about hunting. I don't personally want to hunt, but I don't give a shit if you do. I like eating meat. I'm not a vegan, and I'm not shitting on vegans. If you want to be a vegan, that's cool. I just don't like when people try to like force, whether you're a vegan or not, I just don't want you to try to force how you feel about it on me like I'm an asshole if I'm not also a vegan. You know what I mean? And vice versa. Like, I would never I'm not trying to make you feel like an asshole if you're not a vegan or if you are a vegan. That's not at all what I'm saying. What I'm saying is this. The way I feel about like working on cars or anything that I'm not personally into, I feel it's the same way about hunting. I don't care if you go hunting. I want somebody else to do it, because in order for me to eat meat, somebody's got to kill that damn thing. And I don't want to be the one to do it. I just don't like killing animals anymore. And I'm not knocking people that do it. In order for me to eat meat, somebody's got to kill it. So if you want to be that person, please have at it. But I would love to enjoy the meat with you. But I just don't want to be the one to kill it. But anyway, I'm getting so fucking far off track. The point is this. If you're into something, regardless what it is, if people don't like it, or if you are if you feel like you're the only one that likes it, it doesn't matter if you think that it makes you weird, or if you think that it's fucked up that you like it and other people don't. Everyone has something that they're into. You should be proud of that. You should be happy with the way you are. You should be happy with the ideas that you have, the things that you're into specifically. Like, if you really enjoy hacky sack, fucking go out there and play hacky sack, dude. Who gives a shit if anyone else is liking it or not? You'll find a big community of people that like hacky sack if you look for it. Same with yo-yos, same with basket weaving, quilt making. I name all these things a lot, but because it's true. They're a little more rare, but at the same time, it doesn't make you a weirdo if you like it. You should be grateful and happy of all the little intricacies that make you who you are, because no one on the face of the fucking planet is or has ever been or ever will be exactly like you. So appreciate every second of your existence, because it's the only time it's ever going to happen like that. With that, like, somebody may have the same like feelings about Earth or the universe as you, but they don't have your exact same hair color, hairstyle, eye color, same mom and dad, same time period that you live in, same city that you grew up in, same car that you're driving, same, sense of humor, same sense of seriousness. Like, you are unique. If you boil it down, and listen, somebody might be 99.9% like you, but that 0.1% separates us. And that you should be grateful for, because that combination of all those things that make you exactly who you are will never, ever happen again. It's fucking wild, dude. It's incredible to think about it like that. And the reason that I think you should be grateful for that is because the uniqueness doesn't come often. Whether it's weird or amazing, you should enjoy the fuck out of that. It's incredible. I just think it's absolutely fantastic. I mean, every one of us has flaws. Every single one of us. And we all have gifts. We all have talents. We all have, skills that separate us. And, like, to shit on somebody because they're they have certain flaws, like, to shit on somebody about their flaws is kind of strange to me, because we all have flaws. And don't get me wrong, I'm guilty of doing this myself. I still think it's fucking weird. But I don't do it very often anymore. I try not to. I try not to at least blast people based on flaws. It's one thing if you're lying to people, or if you're misleading them intentionally or unintentionally, or you do certain things that you feel high and mighty. Like, I more or less, I like blasting shitty actions as opposed to the actual individual themselves. And it's just, when you live your life understanding that everybody has a flaw, everybody has weaknesses, everybody has shortcomings, it's really not, it really doesn't benefit you to focus on somebody else's. Because it's almost like the saying, judge not lest ye be judged, meaning kind of like, don't judge others unless you want them judging you. It's like, don't make fun of somebody for having, not being able to kick the habit of smoking when you're obsessed with drinking or video games or drugs or whatever. We all have issues. We all have problems, is the point. So ignoring somebody else's is usually a good thing for you, unless it's harming you or somebody you care about, or just anybody, strangers. I don't like that. But like I said, that's more the action, not the person themselves. It's like, don't hate the sinner, hate the sin. Don't hate the person that's doing the wrong. Hate the wrong that they're doing. Unless they know that it's wrong and they're intentionally doing it anyway because they don't give a fuck. Then fuck that guy or girl. But I just think that we're focused too much on the bad things that happen, and it's unavoidable. You can't go through life without having anything bad ever happen to you. It's just not possible. So to focus on that is just, it's not good for you. It just causes stress and anxiety and problems and depression and anger and bitterness and everything. And it's just, there's no good reason to create that for yourself when you could. Listen, we only have so much time in a day, and you can only think about certain things. You only have so much time to think about certain things. So do you want to spend the majority of your time thinking about the problems that are around you that aren't stopping? Or do you want to think about what's good, or a solution to the problem, which is also a good thing? And I don't mean to say that, like, you should be delusional and just ignore a problem. Like if you run a red light, it could kill you. Oh, screw it, do it anyway. I'm not saying that. Don't do that. That's ignorant. It's very dumb to do something like that. But you should constantly be at least searching for what kind of awesome things you have going for you in life, because we all have them. We all have gifts. Like, if that's all you have, say you've lost everything and all you have is your talent, that's something. You can make a life out of that. You can make a career out of that. If you don't like your job, instead of focusing on the things you don't like about your job, you should be focusing on the things that you can have because of your job, or the things that it allows you to be able to do. You go to a new job, you get a brand new job. Yeah, say the work sucks. Usually it does, because most jobs are built to suck. That's why they're paying you. If it was fun to do, it'd be voluntary and people would be lining up to do it. It's like nobody requests to get paid to go on a fucking roller coaster ride. Or like, it's just, if it's a good time, usually you have to pay for that. So there's just so many things in life that you should be thankful for, man. It's good for you. It is honestly good for your psyche, for your mentality, for your stress levels. And I'm always a bit like, listen, my grandpa died when he was 51. I never even got to meet him. He died 3 years before I was born. And the only thing I really know fully about him that, as far as the death and all that, I asked what had caused it. One of the big things was stress. Now, he also, I'm not going to leave out the others, he also smoked a lot of cigarettes. And I don't know how much of a drinker he was. He might have been a little bit of a drinker, but I don't think he was like a raging alcoholic or anything. But he did have his vices, he did have his problems, but he also was a person that stressed and worried a lot. And that stuff piles up. If you ever notice somebody that gets a new job position, like say they move up into a high stress position, watch how long it takes them to either start losing their hair or start going gray, if they haven't been already. I see this happen all the time. Young, old, doesn't matter the age. You take on a lot of stress, it starts physically changing your body, and not in a good way. And it's not necessary. If you can avoid it, you should. But instead of placing all your thoughts and focus and energy and time into what's wrong with your life, you should always try to focus on what's good in your life. If you get in, like, say you run out of gas on the freeway, there are so many ways to look at it. Yes, you can be pissed off that you ran out of gas. You can be angry or sad, or there's all kinds of emotions that happen. And I don't expect you to just not even think about it. But what you should do is think about it like this. If you run out of gas, yes, that sucks. It's awful. You don't want to do that. You don't want to have to go look for new gas. You don't want to have to go walk somewhere and find it. However, you could have, maybe that it helped you avoid getting into a car accident up the road. Maybe if you would have been driving up the road, somebody would have swerved over, not seen you, crashed into your car, and you could have got into a fatal car accident. You don't know that, but it definitely could have happened. Maybe you would have been, somewhere a little bit earlier and somebody could have robbed you. There's 100 things that could have happened that are way worse than the issue that you got. But we don't look at that like that. We don't ever look at like, because you don't know. You don't know the answer. You don't know that you would have gotten into a car accident. So you're like, I don't know that would have happened. But what if it would have? You're never going to know the other outcome. You only know the current one. When there's a chance, when there's like a fork in the road where you can either do or do not, whichever one you choose, you're never going to know the outcome of the other one. So instead of looking at it as, wow, this is a pain in the ass, I ran out of gas, I got to go walk somewhere to look for it. All right, well, maybe it's a little bit extra exercise. Maybe somebody comes along and helps you and you meet them in your life, and all of a sudden, if 10 years from now, they're a phenomenal friend of yours, and you don't know where you'd be without them. You just don't know. But there's no point in only looking at the bad, because all you're going to do is be pissed off. Look, you already ran out of gas. You're already not happy. So should you think about it and stew on it like that's going to change the outcome? No. The outcome's set in stone. It happened. You ran out of gas. So you can either think about that and bitch the whole way to the gas station and complain and call people and go, this kind of shit always happens to me. All you're doing is making your experience on this planet more negative and more awful by thinking about the shit that already happened. You went through it. If you get into a fight and you lose the fight and you got the black eye and then you complain about the black eye for the next week, look, the black eye isn't going away because you complain. It's not going to take away the fact that you lost the fight. All it's going to do is make you think about it more. And then you're going to be thinking negatively. You're going to be thinking angry or mad or sad or bitter. And how is that helpful? It's just not. Now, I'm not saying you should be thankful that you got your ass kicked, but maybe it taught you a lesson. I've seen so many times where people get into a fight and then they become really good friends after that. And then they never fight again. And sometimes some of the best friends that we have come from people that we used to hate. So would you take back the fight that now has created you a 20-year lifelong friend or something? Or would you rather, like, 20 years from now, you're not even going to think about that fight. You're not going to remember what it felt like. You're not going to remember, like, you're not going to be in pain. You know, it's over and done with. So instead, you should enjoy the outcome of what positives have come from it. There's always a glass half full and glass half empty scenario. But you have to look for them. And I just think in the world that we live in now, you know how many people complain about, like, oh, I don't have internet service here. I don't have Wi-Fi. Shit, my phone's about to die. Dude, 20 years ago, that wasn't even a thought. There was no internet on phones. There was no, like, like when I was in middle school and elementary school, my teachers always said, oh, you got to learn how to do all the math because you're not going to have a calculator with you everywhere you go. A calculator, yeah. You're not going to have that with you everywhere you go. Well, joke's on them. Because every fucking cell phone on the damn planet has a calculator. 9 times out of 10, I'd never need it. Actually, I'd say 99 out of 100, maybe even 999 out of 1,000. But the point is, I never need the damn thing, rarely ever. But I still have it if I do. So all those teachers that said, you got to learn how to do this because you're never going to have this. Wrong. I'm surprised these people didn't say you need to walk around with 100 textbooks because you're never going to have this information in the future. Wrong. We have cell phones with the internet that has everything. You don't even need to, you literally don't even have to buy a camera anymore. I remember people buying Polaroids, the little Kodaks with the little round wheel that you'd have to I'm doing that fucking noise, sounds ridiculous, but you know that I'm saying when you have to rewind or when you have to wind it and all that shit. And then you take it and then it's like, oh shit, all my photos are done. I don't have a camera. Now I got to get this one developed. You have to go to the store. You have everything in your fucking phone now. You have the internet, you have GPS, you have everything right there next to you. You're like a damn robot. You're like a cyborg from the future now. And we complain about the stupidest shit. Like you go to McDonald's and you order your meal and they forgot to give you napkins. And you bitch about it the whole way home. Oh, fuck, these stupid pieces of shit. They didn't give me any napkins. Or damn it, they forgot the straw. Can you pop the lid open and drink it like that? Like we complain about the craziest shit. And I'm just as guilty. Trust me, I'm not judging. I'm just saying that it's not worth focusing on all the problems when there are people like, look, dude, you can go to the store. You can leave your house. And for most of us out there, you can leave your house and within 10, 15 minutes of driving in any one direction, you probably have some form of a restaurant or fast food or something that you can get food 10, 15 minutes from now. Do you know that technology did not exist 200 years ago or any time before that? Like it's incredible. I mean, you can go to Little Caesars right now and for $5 fucking you can get a damn hot and ready and feed you, your wife, your kids for at least one meal. Like, it blows my mind that we have all these things, all these amazing, incredible, you don't have the answer to who was the third president. You pull out your cell phone. Pull out your cell phone and type in who was the third president. Within fucking 30 seconds, you're going to know. That didn't exist in the 80s. You had to go to the damn library. You had to hope somebody had the right information. Half the time people would lie to you and you didn't know because you just believed them because you didn't want to take the time to go to the library and check it out for yourself. So you were just like, yeah, Frank down at the lumber yard told me that we had to, that the 9th president was Abraham Lincoln. So I believe him. And it's like, no, he was the 16th. And you're like, well, I think you're wrong. It's like, well, go look it up. And you both were like, nah. And then you forgot about it. And you're wrong anyway. So the point is, the luxuries that we have available to us right now. And shit, if you're listening to this 100 years after 2019, then the shit I'm talking about probably seems like so ancient and so long ago, so historical, that you don't even know what I'm talking about. The fact that we have like VR systems where we can put it on our head and just get locked into a new realm, a new world, is just awesome, is incredible. I mean, the ways that you can pass time now compared to 500 years ago, like with video games and your cell phone and watching YouTube videos and, playing hacky sack like we were just talking about. Like, there's so many awesome things that you can do. And, like, we complain over the silliest shit, like, damn it, I'm getting low on gas. I got to stop at the gas station. Well, 200 years ago, you didn't have a car. You wanted to get to work. Like you had to work within like a mile or two from where you lived. Otherwise, it was like an all-day event to get to and from work. Like you'd work 8 hours, but you'd spend 8 hours walking to and from. We just got to have better perspective on what we have in life. Like, if you have a family from all over the globe, like my grandpa moved up here with his brother from Alabama, which means he didn't see his family for a very long time other than his brother, because it wasn't real easy to just get to and from Alabama. I mean, in a car, if you had the money and you had the resources and you had the time, you could go visit your family in another state, but it would take you, 10, 12 hours of driving down there. It would take you, a decent amount of your money. You'd have to, pack out. I mean, it just wasn't that simple to just, back in the 50s or 40s to just move from Alabama to Michigan and then see your family every other weekend. You couldn't just fly down. You couldn't just fly from Maine to California in 5, 6, 7, 8 hours, whatever long it takes. You couldn't just do that. It was literally like a month that it would take you to go from Maine to California, 100 years ago. So to think that you can have family all over the world, and not only can you have them all over the world and be able to see them, way more frequently, you can talk to them through the internet, through Facebook, through all kinds of means, through cell phones. I mean, we just have so many fucking benefits. I can't even get into nearly enough of them. But if you want food or water, you can have it in a half an hour. If you want to go visit family 5 states over, you can do that today. I mean, shit, you could damn near take a weekend and drive there and then come back. You could go there Friday morning, Friday after work, come back Sunday night before your Monday morning, day at work, like nothing. And that shit just did not happen for the majority of human history. So just think about the conveniences of your life, the things that you do have. If you have 5 friends, like 5 real friends, that's probably 3 or 4 more than most people had 100 years ago. I mean, granted, it was a little different. I mean, you had much more of a community feel, but if people were shitty or liars, you didn't know. You couldn't fact check them. If they wrote a letter and they didn't know the language for shit, they didn't have spell check. They just spelled a bunch of shit wrong, and you had to just be like, damn, did a 5-year-old write this? Like, no, oh, this was Uncle Harry. Like, it's just, we need to put life in perspective, dude. Like, my mom got my daughter a fucking plastic, she's 11 months old. She got my daughter this little plastic, like, fake cell phone that actually has a touch screen, and this shit was like $12. Like $12. Imagine that. I mean, you don't have to imagine. It's probably like ancient technology right now at this point if you're listening 100 years from now. But like the idea that cell phones didn't exist 30 years ago, and then 30 years later, an 11-month-old baby is playing with a mock version of one that literally has a touchscreen. Touchscreen didn't exist a decade ago, basically. Maybe 2 decades ago. For sure it didn't exist 2 decades ago. But, dude, it's just wild the time we live in. And that, like, if you want to travel, 9 states away, you don't have to have road maps and, like, try to decipher Morse code. You got to throw it in your GPS and let the satellite just show you where you're going. But we complain about everything. Oh, my job. I hate going in. It sucks. Are you paying your bills? Is it allowing you to have the lifestyle? Listen, I'm not saying don't look for a better job. Do that. If you hate your job, do everything in your power to change that situation. But stop complaining about it and doing nothing. Be grateful that you live in this time. Be grateful that you have a life. Be grateful that you are alive and living in such like non-poverty that you can actually listen to a podcast. Like if you're listening to this, you have pretty fucking good technology around you. You should appreciate that, dude, because it didn't exist 30 years ago. It's just incredible. And so I just wanted to wrap this up now by saying how thankful I am for all of these things that I've named for you and many more. I'm very thankful for my family. I'm very thankful for all of you. I'm very thankful to just be alive. I'm just grateful. Like, yes, do certain things in my life suck? Sure. Of course they do. But me dwelling on it and me thinking about it and focusing on it constantly is not changing anything. It's not helping anything. It's just making you more pissed off and bitter. So don't think about those things. Be aware of them. Think about something enough to be aware of it. But then fix it or focus on the good. If you're fighting with your wife or your husband right now, be appreciative that you even have a wife or a husband. Somebody who's willing to tolerate you for the rest of your life. For the rest of their life. That's incredible, man. Somebody that's willing to be like, all right, look, you're not perfect, but damn it, let's do this journey together. That's awesome. That somebody's willing to tolerate you for the rest of your existence. If your child is a brat and they're in school causing chaos, be grateful that you have a child that you love, that you care about, that you can raise and teach to be a great young man or young woman. Like, be grateful for what you have, dude. Be grateful for the life you have, the time period you live in, the luxuries and technologies you get to experience. Be grateful. Appreciate everything. On this wonderful day, the day before Thanksgiving, I just want to remind everyone to give thanks for life, for your experience in this earth at this time, to be alive at all. There is no guarantee. Think about it. Like I said, from the day you were born, for the day before you were born, and every second beforehand, you didn't exist. In all the time that the world has been around, the universe has been around, the history of life, you were nothing. And now you're something. If that doesn't fucking get you jacked up about life and about going out there and conquering every day and appreciating everything, I don't know what the fuck will, man. I really don't. But you need to enjoy it and learn to embrace every wonderful thing that comes your way. Don't miss all the good by thinking about all the bad. You miss out on all the great parts about life. Just don't do that. But I got to go, guys. I love you so much, and happy Thanksgiving to everyone that listens to this, everyone that's involved. I love every single effing one of you, and I'm so grateful to have you in my life. And I just wish nothing but the best for you guys. I just wish you happiness, appreciation, gratitude, everything that makes you love and appreciate your existence in this journey that we call life. I just want you to understand what gift has been given to you. But I love you guys, and I thank you so much. If you want to get a hold of me, if you want to leave me a message through Anchor app, you can do that. If you want to get a hold of me on Instagram, it's Really Rich Podcast. Twitter is Really Rich Adam. Snapchat and YouTube is Really Rich. And find me on LinkedIn, Adam Rich, founder and host of Really Rich Podcast. And I will talk to you soon, guys. Please comment, share, comment, get a hold of me, DM, whatever you want. I really do want to have a conversation with each and every one of you. I love you guys, and I thank you so much. Peace. I'm out of here.